think I might be mad at you forever. I hate that.
Sometimes the biggest twists in a show aren't about shocking deaths or jaw-dropping reveals, but about the quieter, more personal moments where characters actually grow. That's exactly what makes Gen V Season 2, Episode 4 so effective. Yes, Cypher's storyline steals the spotlight with his terrifying powers and growing connection to Marie, but underneath all of that, the episode takes the time to remind us why we're invested in these characters in the first place. It's about friendship, reconciliation, and even hints of romance. And honestly, those moments hit just as hard as the bigger mysteries, because without them, the stakes wouldn't matter. Episode 4 gives us a perfect balance. World-shaking reveals on one side and deeply human developments on the other. Let's start with what has become one of the most surprising, emotional beats of the season: Cate and Jordan. These two haven't always been on the same page. And given Cate's past, it wasn't even clear if they'd ever be able to move past the tension between them. But Episode 4 changes that in a big way. Watching them reconcile didn't just feel like a personal victory for the characters. It felt like a crucial piece of the puzzle falling into place for the entire group. If Cate can get her powers back to what they once were, she and Jordan together could be a major weapon in the fight against Cypher and whatever else is coming down the road. It's not just about forgiveness. It's about strategy. Their friendship, patched up here, might be the exact advantage the team needs later. And more importantly, it shows us that reconciliation is possible in this dark, messy world. That matters, because it gives the heroes something worth fighting for besides just survival. Then there's Emma.
This is all because you bashed my brain in.
Your powers aren't working right. You fucking say something. The dude could have fucked us.
And honestly, her storyline in Episode 4 was one of my favorites. After everything she went through with Sam, she deserves more than just being defined by heartbreak or betrayal. And finally, we're seeing her slowly carve out her own path again. Watching her find a new group to rely on felt refreshing, like a second chance for her character. The scene where she's able to shrink down small again and then return to her regular size wasn't just about power control. It was about confidence. It happened after she got advice and encouragement from one of her new friends, and that made it even more meaningful. It wasn't just a physical shift. It was emotional. Emma is learning to trust again, to lean on people, and maybe even open the door to new romance. After all the chaos with Sam, it feels like the writers have finally given her room to grow, and it's exactly what she needed. What's interesting is how Gen V uses these smaller stories to balance out the chaos of the main plot. The show is filled with conspiracies, mysteries, and larger-than-life threats, but it never forgets that at the heart of it all, these are young people still trying to figure out who they are. Unlike The Boys, which follows characters who are already fully formed in their roles, whether that's as corrupt supes, rebels, or broken survivors. It gives us the chance to see these kids evolve in real time. The friendships they build, the betrayals they suffer, the trust they test, all of it shapes who they'll become in the long run. Episode 4 highlights this perfectly. It slows down just enough to remind us that these aren't just pawns in a bigger war. They're individuals, each on their own path of discovery. That's what makes Cate and Jordan's reconciliation so powerful. It isn't just about two people patching things up. It's about showing us that growth is possible, even after mistakes.
Cate's the only one who might be able to help.
She's on his side.
Cypher was screaming at her.
In a show where darkness and corruption are everywhere, moments like this prove that redemption isn't completely out of reach. And in Emma's case, it's about resilience. She could have stayed broken after everything with Sam, and no one would have blamed her. Instead, she's slowly finding strength again, and that's inspiring to watch. These arcs might not be as flashy as Cypher revealing his powers, or Marie uncovering another layer of her past, but they're essential because they keep the emotional core of the show alive. Now, don't get me wrong. The main plot of Gen V Season 2 is still what drives the tension. Cypher's mysteries, Project Odessa, Marie's growing powers, all of that is still front and center. But if the show only focused on those big plot points, it would risk losing the heart that makes it special. Episode 4 reminds us that character matters just as much as spectacle. Without these smaller beats of friendship and self-discovery, the larger story wouldn't land. Think about it. Cypher is terrifying, not just because of his powers, but because of how his presence affects these relationships. His manipulation, his secrets, his ties to Marie, they all ripple through the group. The reason we care about Cypher being unstoppable is because we care about the people he's threatening to tear apart. That's the balance. Episode 4 nails so well. Take Emma again, for example. If Cypher is this unstoppable force who seems to always be in control, Emma's journey shows us the opposite side of the coin. She's vulnerable, she's struggling, but she's also learning to stand on her own feet. The contrast between her growth and Cypher's dominance makes the story richer. One represents raw power and manipulation, the other represents growth and recovery. Watching those two forces exist in the same show adds layers that make Gen V stand apart from just being a spinoff of The Boys. It's also worth noting that episode 4 continues to build on the theme of trust, whether it's Cate and Jordan learning to trust each other again, Emma trusting her new friends, or Marie trying to figure out if she can ever trust Cypher. The whole season is anchored on this question. Who can you rely on when the world is built on lies? That theme is especially important for a younger cast of characters because unlike The Boys, where the cynicism has already hardened everyone, these kids are still testing boundaries. They're still forming identities. Trust for them isn't just a strategy, it's survival. Episode 4 leans into that theme beautifully, giving us moments that feel both fragile and powerful at the same time. What I love most is how these developments don't feel like filler. Sometimes, in shows like this, character-driven subplots can feel like pauses in the action, but here they're woven directly into the larger narrative. Cate and Jordan reconciling isn't just emotional. It could directly affect the heroes' chances of survival later on. Emma building a new support system isn't just personal. It could mean the difference between her breaking down again or stepping up when the group needs her most. The writers clearly understand that in order for the big battles to matter, the smaller victories have to feel earned. And that's why episode 4 stands out. It doesn't just give us Cypher's shocking developments, which are already huge. It gives us the reminder that this show is about growth, about watching these kids stumble, fail, and then get back up stronger. It's the kind of storytelling that makes you care not just about the outcome of the fight, but about the people doing the fighting. So while Cypher's rise and the mysteries of Project Odessa may be what keep us on the edge of our seats, it's the quieter moments of friendship, reconciliation, and self-discovery that make Gen V Season 2 truly worth watching. Cate and Jordan finding common ground, Emma learning to trust and maybe even love again, and Marie facing the terrifying truth about her connection to Cypher. All of it reminds us that character is just as important as plot. And honestly, that's what makes this season so compelling. Episode 4 doesn't just push the story forward, it deepens it. It gives us reasons to care, and it sets the stage for even bigger payoffs down the road. All of it reminds us that character is just as important as plot. And honestly, that's what makes this season so compelling. Episode 4 doesn't just push the story forward, it deepens it. It gives us reasons to care, and it sets the stage for even bigger payoffs down the road.